times, ages that we're supposed to have like figured out. It's not real. It's made up.
Oh, fuck. Honestly and truthfully, I'm not a put-together person. I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I know what I want to do in my life, but not necessarily what I'm doing every day or how to get there. Hold on, let me restart. Life is full of so many facets and different branches. And sometimes it's hard to know which ones you want to follow and which ones that you're following that you even ascribe to or like, or subscribe to or even like. And it's hard to know who you are when there's so many avenues in life to go down. When there's already so many you yourself have gone down or are currently going down. Part of your identity is the things you consciously choose and set aside for you to do. Like, consciously, I chose to go to a book nook, but I also didn't choose this book. But I also chose this book, you know. There were, of course, choices in the matter that I didn't have. Like, I didn't put it in the book nook. I didn't go to the store and get this. But I went to the book nook and I got it. And obviously I know that I like book nooks and that's a part of my personality. But to what degree are the things that we like consciously affecting our personality, and to what degree are the things that we like unconsciously affecting our personality? This is kind of relates to a conversation on consciousness. So your conscious and unconscious mind, how much of them really define who you are? Do you define who you are, or does your actions define who you are? Does your thoughts define who you are? Does the words you say define who you are? Are you who you tell yourself that you are, or are you what other people see you as from the outside? Are you a combination of all of them, or none of them? Do you pick and choose which ones you're a combination of, or better yet, culmination of, or does your subconscious choose for you? These are the kind of questions I want to know the answer to that I don't think ever know the answers to, because I'm not other people. I can only speak from my own experience, and I know that I've been really waking up to some of my unconscious patterns lately, and holy fuck, they've definitely been a part of who I am without even realizing it. And when I go and I change those things, people are like, whoa, that's different. Because they're not expecting me to like be conscious of it. Or I guess maybe they don't even know if I'm conscious or unconscious of it. Maybe other people think I'm always conscious of what I'm doing, and that's why I'm doing it. But I know a lot of the time I'm not conscious of what I'm doing. My head and my hands and my body, especially when I'm talking, just do whatever. And I'm a little more conscious of it right now just because I'm speaking about it. But I'm not sitting here in my brain thinking, okay, time to move my hands to the left, time to move them to the right. This is just what my hands are doing. They're processing what I'm thinking in a way that physically manifests so that I can speak those words out loud, if you know what I mean. Basically, I'm moving to process my thoughts. And that happens unconsciously. I don't choose to do that. My body just does it for me because it knows that that's a need that I have. And it makes me think, are my now I'm like overthinking it. Are my like facial expressions and hand gestures things that, do they have like meaning imbued in them? Or is it just my hands moving? No, I think they do have meaning, because I moved my hands like this as a realization. When imbued meaning, I like moved my hands together to be like one thing, and then I said something else, and then I moved my hands apart. So I think maybe my hands do have meaning that I'm not even aware of. That's so first of all, my hands are moving without me even consciously thinking about it. Second of all, they do things for me without even thinking about it. And part of that is also because I have my corpus callosum intact, which is the fiber that connects your two brain halves. the left and right brain, so to speak. And without that, I would also be a different person. And what's crazy is that your right brain controls the left side of your body. Your right eye your left eye is connected to your right brain, which is so funny to me, and vice versa. So they did studies on people who didn't have their corpus callosum because it had to be removed from severe trauma or whatever it was, and they found that these people can still function without the corpus callosum, but it means that the two brain spheres aren't talking to each other. And first of all, that means I wouldn't be doing these hand movements, probably. And second of all, it means that I wouldn't be doing both hands at the same time in a connected motion that are together, intertwined, in tandem. So like some people that have that condition, one of their hands will go to do something that they're consciously choosing to do, and the other hand will swat it away or will purposely undo whatever they're doing, but they have no awareness of it in the brain because they don't have communication in their brain, and so their hands literally do different things for them. So all of these things beg the question, what the fuck even is consciousness? And we can try to define it all we want, but definitions really get us nowhere, because you can say that it's a cognitive process of being aware of your environment and yourself within your environment, then acting accordingly to that. But animals do that, maybe not in the same way that we do, but animals do that. They're aware of their environment around them, and they react to the environment around them because they know that they're not the same things as the environment around them. Take like a dog, for example. If he's around someone who's abusive, or if the dog is around someone that's abusive to it, of course it's going to whimper and like not be very loving towards that person. It's aware of that connection with that, but it's not in its mind thinking, man, whoever beat me, that's just a piece of shit person. I could never allow myself to get next to them. I could never trust them again. It's just something that's happening. Because they just act in ways that are in accordance, they act in ways, or they act in accordance to what is good for them. Either way works to say. I just wanted to say the word accordance. But animals have consciousness, but I don't think in the ways that we do. And every species of animal, and then every breed of animal within that species thinks a little bit differently. Even plants have some level of consciousness. They can uproot themselves and literally move if they need to, if they're in an environment that isn't suited for them. They can scream out in pain and release pheromones when they're cut, because they're basically being like, hey, I'm in pain. This is my pain. Like the smell of fresh cut grass. Humans are like, yo, I just love the smell of fresh cut grass. And grass is like, yo, I'm literally fucking bleeding out and dying right now. But we know that plants aren't conscious in the same way that we are. Just watching the video back, and I think part of it is every step you go up the food chain, or the food ladder, or whatever the fuck, you gain more consciousness. So like sunlight, for example, that's where plants get their energy, sunlight and water. Not really conscious. I mean, they do their own thing. They're capable of doing things, but they're not really conscious. They're not really conscious in a way that we would consider conscious. Then plants. They feed the plants. Plants do have some level of consciousness, some level of awareness of the environment around them, which is why they know to wilt if they're in an environment that's not suited for them, or to freeze, or to do whatever it is that they're going to do, depending on whatever environment they're in. But then you go up a level from that. Animals eat those plants, and they have more awareness of the surroundings around them, or of their surroundings, not the surroundings around them, of their surroundings, and they seem to be a little more aware of what's going on. You know, they have more agency in their actions. And then you go up a rung from that, and you've got humans who eat those animals. We also eat plants, of course, and we also need sunlight and water, of course. But it seems to me that humans have this level of consciousness because we kind of acquired them from the things we ate, almost. Not actually, that sounds goofy, but you know what I mean. We We aren't on the same level as the things that we eat. We're literally on a different level of life, existing in a different plane of life that they can't experience. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we weren't consuming them. You know what I mean? If we weren't eating the things that were below us, we wouldn't be alive. We wouldn't be in the position that we're in. I don't know. I just thought about that. I don't even know if that makes any sense. But it's just, yeah. Again, we know that they're not actively choosing to sit there and be like, hey, I'm bleeding out. But then again, neither do we. When we're cut and we bleed out, we don't choose to bleed. We just do. Because that's what our body does. There's just so many things to talk about, and I could never answer all these questions. I'm only one fucking person, and I've only lived a very limited experience on this planet, both in time-wise and geographical distance traveled. I've only lived in one place basically my entire life. I haven't met a whole lot of people in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I've met a lot of different people, obviously, but not like I would have met if I had traveled all over the world and met different people who, like me, stayed in their place of birth and kept that culture. I don't really align myself with the culture of where I'm from, because it's, to me, void of culture. I seek culture elsewhere, which is why I also do want to travel and learn from other people. But yeah, this is all coming from the limited perspective of one single person who has autism and loves to think deep thoughts. But also I do research about these things, which is why I've got names for them. Because otherwise I may not have had names for some of these phenomena if I hadn't have gone and been like, hey, what the fuck is consciousness? And bothered to look it up or talk to other people about it. I have a whole bunch of notes, a whole bunch of pages of notes, because I went on Discord and I talked about consciousness, and I made it a point to have conversations about it. So we've got all kinds of things, okay? Let's also talk about there's so many things to talk about. Oh my goodness. Authenticity. So, authenticity, and time has proven this, life has proven this, science has proven it, philosophy has proven it, psychology has proven it. Almost every medium you can find out there has proven this, that authenticity is key to living a good life, that being yourself and genuinely yourself is one of the biggest keys to living a good life. So studies have shown actually that women who are in bad marriages, who are unhappy and don't speak up about it, are just as unhappy as women who are in, or wait, fuck, I don't remember what that one was. So I'm not going to discuss something that I don't know. But basically, if you're in an environment where you're not able to be yourself, you're like 4 times more likely to die. Especially if it's within a marriage or something like that and you're very unhappy and don't feel like you can be yourself. Essentially, you're going to die quicker because of lack of authenticity, and then on top of that, the stress response to not being able to be yourself. Self-suppression, essentially. Okay, so I was watching, there's this guy who's fucking brilliant, whose name is Dr. Gabor Mate. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, but he specializes, he's been a doctor for, I don't know, way longer than I could probably tell you. But he specializes in trauma, addiction. He worked with hospice patients and like elderly people who were about to die. He's really kind of been on all sides of everything, and he talks about authenticity as one of the keys, like I said, to living a good and fulfilled life. And part of authenticity is awareness, knowing who you are, who you want to be, and knowing how you're acting, and if that's in accordance to your true self. And then self-affection. You have to be affectionate towards yourself as well as other people. First yourself and then other people, because you can't pour from an empty cup. But he says the steps in order are you have to be aware, you have to know what's going on, know the problems, then you have to know the impacts of those problems and how it actually affects your life. Number 3, What is the story behind why? So let's give an example. With trouble saying no, you have to be aware of the fact in the first place that you have trouble saying no. And then secondly, know the impacts of that. It's going to make you do a whole bunch of things you don't really want to do and that don't really make you feel good if you're constantly saying no to other people. And trouble saying no could either affect you in work or personal relationships or any kind of relationship really, but work and personal relationships are the two biggest areas that are typically affected. And not saying no, trouble saying no is because of the fear of loss or not having enough. Because as a child, they didn't have enough, and so now they feel like they're also going to have that same thing. And this is something I also struggle with, is that fear of loss. Not necessarily in saying no, but I tend to, like with food, for example, I don't know what a normal amount of food to eat is because I've always either had an eating disorder or lack of food or overabundance of it or didn't like the food that was provided to me or all kinds of issues with food, too expensive to eat the food, whatever it was. So I have a lot of insecurities when it comes to food, especially because of my autism. So not the fear of loss or the fear of not having enough is hugely impactful on me because as a kid I didn't know if I would be able to eat today or tomorrow. So when I eat, I feel like I have to eat as much as possible. Not all the time, but sometimes I feel like, especially if I know I don't have food in the fridge or anything, I feel like I have to eat as much as possible. That way I can, store it. I guess subconsciously I'm doing all this, but I don't know. I still struggle to know what feeling full feels like. I certainly know what feeling too full feels like. That's very painful, but I don't know what feeling full feels like necessarily. I know extreme hunger to the point of nausea, and I know what very over full feels like, but I don't know what full is. So there again, the fear of loss, not having enough. And then the fourth question would be, who would you be without that fear? And someone answered this question, bold, free, and true to myself. So if I didn't have that fear, I would be okay with not having food in this moment because I know I work at a restaurant and I can always get food or whatever it is, right? So I can let go of that fear because there's always going to be a way to get food. Now that I have a job, I can also have the money to go buy food elsewhere, So there's multiple ways I can get food. I have to try to let go of that. You really have to listen to your bodily cues, which sucks because if you don't know what they are, you can't listen to them, like being full. So recently I've really been trying to be in tune with my bodily cues and like listening when I'm thirsty or have to use the bathroom. Speaking of, I am thirsty. My hips just popped. This is a water break time. Water break. I'll give everyone a minute to find some water and drink it. It's good for you. And if you're not drinking water with me and you're just sitting there staring at your screen in the same position, I hope you do get some water in you. Because I'm sure if you're doing that, you've got some kind of something lacking in your life causing you to feel like you should have to be on your phone. So I hope you get some good water and some good food, some good rest, and some love. But yeah, the impacts of not being authentic to yourself. They make you drained. It makes you fatigued to not be yourself. Okay, so I have been on a healing journey for years, most of my life, but really only since I was 17. I think the first time I really had a healing experience, I went to my second grade, third grade school, and it's abandoned now, or it was. And I played on the playground. And I cried as I swung on my old swing. And I was like, man, I used to love learning so much. And this is one of the places that fucking killed it for me. So ever since then, I've been on a learning journey, as well as a healing journey. And I'm glad I reconnected with my second and third grade self, because it's really helped. But ultimately, I think that meditation and yoga and exercise and drinking tea and reading and all the shit, it really is only helpful if you're doing the inner work too. They're the tools. They're not solutions. They're band-aids. They're band-aids. Real inner work comes from listening to your authentic self. Kind of shine its light through the gaps of your mask. And you have to listen to it and do what it wants. Act upon those urges. I really do think authenticity is one of the biggest keys people miss in life. And I gotta say, ever since cutting my hair, my bangs by myself, and getting a bedazzled flip phone, and having my own room that I can decorate in my way, it's made me a lot more happy because I feel a lot more connected to myself. And I bought this bookshelf at Goodwill because for Christmas, I don't really celebrate Christmas. I grew up Jewish, so one of my first Christmases. For Christmas, I got a Goodwill gift card, and I got this little bookshelf, and it's just so perfect for all my needs, right? Sorry, I was watching this video about Dr. Mate and having a conversation on a podcast. Fucking great guy. I've been watching a lot of his talks. But bookshelf, amazing. And it came with the name Amber on it, so I covered it up and wrote my name Jane. Or not wrote, painted, and then I sticker bombed it. And there's butterflies and suns and bees and fruit and spirals and stars and rainbows and just all the good shit life has to offer, so that every day I can come in here and see beauty. Because I fucking deserve it, man. And then it has a little rod in here. I'll actually open it up. It has a little rod where you can hang stuff. So I hung a little curtain. It's a tapestry, actually. It was on my wall in one of my other houses. But I just keep all my art books in here. And I got this one recently. I want to show you. I haven't used it yet. Haven't been to Florida. Sure have not been to Florida. But I just thought this was a beautiful little notebook, and it looks like it has natural grain paper. So it makes me feel a lot better about using this. And plus also, it looks like it was handmade. I mean, how freaking cute. I love this. You know, I love collecting little books like that. That is authenticity, baby. It may be weird, but I love it. All of these notebooks are gonna go in a big ass art collection that I'm gonna hopefully create my own museum, because I don't think the way museums are done for me. I'm gonna create my own museum. But I'm gonna have an exhibit. It's just all my art books. I have literally like probably 50 at least that I've been saving since middle school or elementary school. And yeah, it's just I want to show all these. And also I have shit tons of canvases. I have boxes full of canvases. That's just some of the ones I've done on my wall. But yeah, I love art, and I've done so much of it. There's one of them right there. Made it while I was tripping one night. But yes, this notebook, all my notebooks have specific themes. This one is a fishbowl, and it's a sensory one, so you can actually move the sparkles in there. And it's fuzzy. But this is an ocean-themed notebook, where I just make ocean-themed art. And that's it. So this is the beach, and this is the water. You've got a pirate ship in the water, and some jellyfish and a little island. And then you turn it over. Here we've got the mermaid page. Ooh, nice and shiny. And the yellow submarine, of course, because you have to have one. And then on this page, all of them are really in different styles. So just a bunch of ocean shit, but in a more dark, formal kind of setting. Another mermaid page. 2 mermaids. This one's got a shell phone. And this one's got sunglasses that are shaped like Patrick Star. Oh, this page is actually really cool. So we've got an anchor right here, and on the other page, it's actually the same scene, or a similar scene, but it's in the ocean, and the anchor is in the same place because it's in the same place in the ocean. You just get two different views of it. So I thought that was really cool. Here, I was trying to freehand some fish with my eyes closed. Let my brain take over. And I think that was the last thing I did. Yeah. But it's little things like this, you know. People might judge me for it or make me feel like I'm weird for it, but I'm not weird, man. I'm just a normal person. The average person doesn't exist, and people keep trying to force themselves to be an average person, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't. Also, this is so old. I literally don't know when I made this. It's a dictionary. I'm writing a dictionary. So here, we've got adulation, obsequious flattery, excessive admiration or praise. Anti-disestablishmentarianism, opposition to the disestablishment of the Church of England, Jesus Christ, I cannot speak. Aberration, a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected, typically that is unwelcome. Aberration, normal doesn't exist. It's just a set of conditioned behaviors and speech patterns that they want us to use, but normal doesn't exist. We're all individuals, and I've seen it firsthand time and time again where people think that they're so normal, but then I see them unveil their true selves, and I'm like, you're not. You're just a regular person. Just like, by normal, you're a fucking human being who acts weird, and you shit and piss and fucking, like, do all the human shit. But anyway, and then we've got ankylosing spondylitis, a form of spinal arthritis chiefly affecting young males that eventually causes ankylosis of vertebral and sacroiliac joints. So as you can see, I'm not a normal person. I'm writing a dictionary. People all the time, when I tell them I'm writing a dictionary, they're like, why? There already is a dictionary. And it's like, you're kind of fucking immature. Because, like, you do realize that wasn't the first dictionary ever, right? The Webster's Dictionary isn't, like, the first dictionary. Other dictionaries existed before the dictionary that you're talking about. So why can't I write my own dictionary of words that I just find to be cool? There's all kinds of dictionaries that exist in the world. People just don't want to see me succeed and make my own because they don't understand it or could never get up the balls to do something like that. Why would they challenge the norm by writing their own dictionary? Because they don't give a fuck. But I do. I want cool words to be the norm, and unfortunately, the dictionary is filled with a bunch of words that aren't that cool, so I'm going to make a cool word dictionary. Anyway, authenticity, baby, be yourself. And don't script your videos, just talk. Freeform, baby. That's what I want to see, truly. I judge myself for my videos going everywhere because I feel like nobody wants to see them, but it's like, if they don't fucking want it, if they don't want to see it, fuck them. I don't want them to watch it. Because this is me. I just like rambling. Also, one last thing. It turns into a closed eye. I love funky notebooks. This was the notebook I had the conversation on consciousness in. And I'll leave you with a question. What passion or calling are you not saying yes to? Because you have no time for your own yeses when you're always saying yes to other people. I don't even know what the central theme of this video would be, and I've got a whole lot more to talk about on consciousness. Oh, I guess one last thing before I leave. Mirrors and videos, even windows, because you can see the reflections of windows. Glass, even, screens, literally anything you can see a reflection in. We're not meant to see ourselves this much. I mean, truly in nature, the only way we saw ourselves in the past was looking in a lake or a river or something when it was either frozen or still enough so that you could see it. And I don't think anybody really understands the psychological impacts of seeing ourselves this much. And don't get me wrong, I love mirrors. I love them because they really open up. Oh, can you fucking not? Sorry, my computer's bugging, but I love mirrors because they just open up a room and they bring so much beauty into a room. You could decorate them, paint them, whatever. But, like I said, there are dangers in doing ourselves this much, and none of us really fully know the impacts, especially if we were born into all this and we didn't live a life without mirrors. It's just fascinating. I did do a little experiment where I went without looking in any mirrors or cameras for like a month, and I gotta say I do think it improves my mental health. I didn't see myself at all. I didn't edit YouTube videos. I didn't look at pictures. I didn't look at mirrors. Nothing. So I highly recommend you do that also. But yeah, I will leave with a parting message to be safe, to drink water, and to have fun. Cheers.